Well, we found the problem why our giant wheel loader wouldn't start. It's got a blown fuse somewhere, I think. So I hot-wired the solenoid again, but it still starts with a key and run. So what we're gonna do is service this thing. You know, the engine oil and things like that, filters have been changed in so long, the filters are rusted. So let's get it pulled over to our wash bay. Heck, we might even wash it while we've got it over there, but let's get this thing serviced. All right, folks, I'm filming solo today. We are doing a full service on our Kawasaki 95 Z3. We have got two new oil filters here. We've got a coolant filter, because these things have such a massive radiator, and they do get contaminants in the coolant. So we're gonna put a new coolant filter on here. Got a fuel filter. This looks like it's wrong, but hey, we're gonna go ahead and see if it's right. And another fuel filter here. So we got two fuel filters total. One big one, one short one, a coolant filter, and oil filter. So we're gonna pull the air filter out and probably just clean it. So I like to use Wix filters. We get them from a company called Fleet Products out of Tampa. Really good people. And that right there is our new coolant filter. Not sure if it's the right one or not, so we'll screw that one off and see if it's close. I don't know if we're sure we're gonna be able to save much coolant. I guess we can turn this right here, turn this off, and maybe that'll keep it from leaking too much out. Ooh, that line is hard as a freaking rock. Hear it creaking? Probably shouldn't touch that too much. I don't know where where's the line even come out of the filter at? What in the world? All right, so what I've done is there's a valve right here and a valve up there, and right there is the hose comes out of the filter. So I've got both of those valves shut, and so you shouldn't leak too much coolant. I've got a bucket down there to catch stuff if we do. Oh, dang, this thing. Oh, she's already gushing. She's already a gusher. This thing hasn't been changed in forever. You know, this thing has been parked for forever, so you know this stuff hasn't been changed in forever, because I'm sure they didn't take care of it. So you're talking 20, 25-year-old filters right here. I mean, look at those things. The oil floaters, you can't even read them. I may end up needing to do a coolant flush, because look at this stuff, just looks black. Ooh, oh, good lord. Good lordy. Yeah, we're not looking good yet. That looks terrible. Oh my gosh. Well, that weren't flowing nothing. So here's our new filter. That's what it's supposed to look like. What a freaking difference. That is terrible. So we weren't filtrationing too much coolant. Get this thing screwed on here. We don't really need to lube the surface up, because it's not. I guess we should check. That's not plugged up or nothing. Not gonna have any like oil here, so we'll put her on there and snug her down by hand. And that'll be our coolant filter done. We'll go on to doing our oil filters next. Oh, that's nice and tight. Turn these valves back on. All right, let's get our oil filters swapped out. All right, these things have been on here for forever. We tried it. There we go. That was easy. Now, these things hold like a freaking half gallon. Ooh, it's gonna be dirty. It's gonna be so dirty. At least we're hitting the bucket, kind of, down there. Oh yeah, this is gonna be disgusting. I don't know how I'm gonna film this and catch this filter that's slap full of oil. The reason it's leaking is because there's a big oil cooler right there. I'm out of breath, I'm too fat. Be leaning over doing this stuff. All right, there we go, about to fall. Come on, baby. Oh, there we go. She's full, so full. All right, so we got both of them off, completely dirty. Aaron came back here to hand me some filters for a second. If I can hold the camera phone here and put it on there at the same time. There we go. One down. Ay, tight. Dose. We got Dose new filters. Someone's gonna say, oh, you didn't pre-fill them, blah, 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 blah. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. That's not good. So I'm running over to Napa because the filters that I got, one of them has the bigger orifice and one of them has a smaller orifice hole. And so yeah, Napa's got the filter in stock. Napa and Wix filters, I think, are pretty much the exact same filters. So we're gonna go over here. I've got to get some oil anyway, so we're gonna grab a couple buckets of oil. I think this thing probably holds like 9 gallons. So we'll get 2 5-gallon buckets of engine oil and get this correct filter. Yes, sir. All right, so we got one correct oil filter here. Already got one new one on it. That one put on there. I got a 5-gallon bucket of oil. We'll get that out in just a second, and we'll get some of this oil drained out and move on doing our fuel filters. 2 new oil filters on this old bird. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting some oil in it. I filled up one of these jugs out of that 5-gallon bucket, and Christian's gonna work on filling them all up instead of having to pour a 5-gallon bucket in there. We'll just put gallon jugs in it and go from there. Oil's all drained. Ooh, it's so fresh. Yummy, yummy, yummy. This thing ain't gonna know what to do with some nice fresh oil in it. One gallon down, 7 more to go. All right. Ojul looks nice and full. It doesn't look exactly clean because it's not the cleanest engine on the inside, but she is full. Put the cap back on it. I got her all full of new oil. Let's move on to the oil filters over there. Now, a lot of you guys have been wondering what the heck all that noise is. It does sound like crap. Is this exhaust manifold? I'm either going to replace the whole manifold, or I may try to braze it, but probably just replace it. The only thing I'm worried about is like these turbo bolts, things like that. Yeah, we may just end up replacing this manifold and going on from there. And then maybe we'll freaking straight pipe this unit. It will sound sick with a straight pipe on it, that's for sure. Right, on to our fuel filters. We got our filter wrench right here. I'm gonna get over here and get this. Oh, that thing was so tight. It was just unbearably tight. Let's see, we got a 3109, and then Wix is gonna convert over to a 33109. We got a fuel filter water separator right here, so we may put the water separator first. If this is the right thread size, and we'll put the fuel filter second. So it looks like we need to put the fuel water separator in this location right here. But it may be a better option for us to leak a little bit. Put that one on since it's all the hoses are all kind of kinked up right there where they're at. So we'll set this bird. Right, oh, no, nowhere, don't nowhere. Right there. Yep, that one's actually tight, so we're gonna have to use our filter wrench. Right there. That's busted loose. Yep, she ain't wanting to come loose because this hose is right in the way that someone's made, which is okay. Oh boy, it's so far on there. Oh, there we go. All right, so what we're gonna do is dump this fuel into the new filters. All that racket. So 2 new oil filters on here. We got our water separator first, and we go into our fuel filter. We got a fuel pump here, so I'm gonna turn that on, let it suck fuel through there. And as you guys know, we've already changed the only hydraulic filter this thing has. Pretty crazy, that's the only hydraulic filter. I'm sure it may have a hydraulic strainer in the hydraulic tank up there. We may check into that later on down the road, but we haven't had any more issues out of that hydraulic pump or noises or anything, so we're sitting pretty there for now. Let's hop up here and check our coolant filter, our coolant. I think it's gonna be right here. See if we've got any in there, if it's low. I don't think we ever checked it when we are. I think Aaron or someone checked it in one of the videos. Oh my goodness, it's tight. Ooh, that looks yummy. But it does have some coolant in there, so things about these radiators, like that stuff's nasty, but guys, to clean this thing and make it right would be impossible without replacing it. So what we're gonna do is just run it for a while with that new filter, and we'll just change some filters out every now and then. Dang old Ray talking on the phone on that dang old job. What in the world? So here's the deal, guys. Since we've been using this thing and playing with it around the yard, there are some few issues that have arisen. We are going to be pressure washing. Maybe that'll be the next video. We give this thing a good bath, inside and out. But we've got a steering cylinder leaking right here. It's got a good little drip to it. Not nothing crazy, but it's definitely dripping. We've got a small leak on the transmission. You can't really see this Big Daddy cylinder right here for the tilt. It's leaking a little bit. Our lift cylinders aren't really leaking too bad. The cylinder right here has got a little bit of a drip on it. So what we're going to do now is grease her up. And this thing has kind of got like all the greasing points. Use the oil recommended operation. So every 100 hours, yeah, every 200 hours. Anyhow, we're gonna grease everything because you know this stuff hasn't been greased in a long time. So hopefully they take grease. Where would we be without today's technology of a high-powered M18 red lithium high output HD 12.0 grease gun? I got an extra tube, but you guys know we're gonna burn through one tube if it's not empty, because my guys like to use it and then not replace it. So let's get to greasing. Well, we're not up to a good start. I put grease in right there and it came out back there, so we got a hole there. That second one took grease. What the heck, hang on, sorry. Oop, no, there we go. That one didn't take grease. See if we can get some grease fittings. It's so hard to film. So believe it or not, our center pivots here took grease. I put like 100 pumps into it. You can see where it came out the top. It came out the bottom. And our lower pivot took grease. Usually these things are worn slap out in these kind of loaders, guys. Like absolutely worn out. And usually the brakes don't work either, so very surprising. Most of these cylinders don't turn too much, so usually they're not going to take grease. I did have to fill it up because we were empty already. Yeah, I don't think there's much to grease on the back of this thing. I'll make our way to the other side. See if we can grease some more pivot points. I'm sure there's some grease zerks somewhere up inside where the rear axle pivots, but I'm not too worried about them. It's an old machine. It is what it freaking is. See if this cylinder thing right here will take grease or not. We got some grease fittings down there too. They're remote fittings. The steering pivot took grease. I think these right here, one of them goes to like the back of the cylinder. You can see how it's not hooked up back there. And then I think the other one goes down to the rear axle and it took grease. So I did grease this bottom pin, the loader lift. It did take grease. Let's try to work our way up to the front. We've got lots of grease fittings up here. So it's safe to say we greased what would take grease. So these big pins up here took grease, surprisingly. This pin took grease. I can't believe some of them took grease, you know. I did notice that bar, link bar, is a little bent there. I'm gonna try to get all this crap cut off here. What this is an old strap. Hell, it might unwind. Let me try to unwind it. Okay, I got one strap kind of loose and I had to walk up front and talk to my brother. Ooh, I don't want to cut myself. Get a razor knife here. And this stuff is like tree wrap or something. This stuff is on here. Dust, my goodness. This is gonna take forever. How can I do this faster? So as it turns out, I didn't have to cut anything. It all just unwound. So now we see what we got to work with. I think we can actually make like something to go on here, like a set of forks or something maybe. And I can buy some forks, put them on here and weld them to it or bolt them to it. It's a pretty stout thing there. The only thing I'm worried about is getting these freaking pins out of here. I'm sure a lot of you that are like heavy equipment people know how hard it can be to get these pins out of something like this. A pin-on style front attachment is like everybody's worst nightmare. No one wants to deal with something that's a pin-on style attachment. So she's starting to clean up a little bit. Let me know, guys. Should we're definitely gonna pressure wash and clean up, but should we paint it or leave it kind of rustic looking? Definitely gonna clean up the inside of it. Maybe put a new seat in there or just replace the seat. It's got a good base. It's like a sprung base. So next up on our list is to pressure wash it and start looking for an exhaust manifold. Since we're a solid week away from this next truck show, Large Cars and Guitars being put on by Tony Justice in Kodak, Tennessee. I think it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th of May. We are going to be there next weekend with Blue Collar 2.0 and Blue Collar the original. Let me get your input on this. So we're going to call this truck Blue Collar 2.0. A lot of people don't like that. I've been thinking, since we use it so much for hauling tractors, we're going to call it the Tratter Taxi. I think it sticks. I think it'd look good on the back of the sleeper too, calling it the Tratter Taxi. But next Monday, we're gonna be heading north up to Tennessee, Amber and the baby and I, and we're gonna be going over to Semi-Casual Shop, and we're gonna be doing a lot of cool things to it. Some hubcaps, some paint, doing some sleeper panels, and finally getting the much needed attention this rig needs. I did drop off my trailer at Great Dane in Tampa because you guys know it's been having some issues, and they're working on checking it out. Oh, so I was supposed to call them today. Crap. After 5 o'clock now, and see how it's going. But yep, Blue Collar 1.0 will be at the show. You guys come check him out. We're gonna be getting it all pressure washed, polished, and cleaned up, and clean her up. Let's get this thing in the wash bay tomorrow and get her pressure washed. And I'm gonna start looking on eBay for a big cam exhaust manifold. Actually, I forgot. Maybe the junkyard up there North Town has one. Maybe we'll go dig in there and try to find an exhaust manifold for it. So maybe we can put an exhaust manifold on it and straight pipe it, a big old chrome stack, same time. Should sound really good with that turbo on there. It's just about the same as a semi truck too, because it is a big cam. So I'm hopping up on my little sweetheart of a John Deere track loader, 450B. See if we can get this thing moved, because we've sold a few tractors this week so far. So we're gonna get it parked up there where a Bobcat thing was that we had. She fires right up too. Just a little dandy if I must say. Gadoosh. Flip the old release there. Put her in reverse. Make a turn so you don't hit the disc. So these right here, you kind of have an automatic transmission kind of. And you have a brake to stop it. Or a clutch. I guess it'd be like a brake more or less, or it might be a valve down there. When you steer it with hand controls here, they're like a brake. See how it locks that up there? And we'll get her moved over. Stick her right up in that hole up in there. I'm gonna plug old buytractor.com right quick, guys. We've got a mess load of skid steer mowers, grapple buckets, grapples, rotor tillers, sweepers, box brooms. Even got a Caterpillar mulching head over there, hydraulic augers. If you guys were along with the trip with me when I went up to Dirt Dog, got all those grapples right there. We have a lot of used equipment, some augers, a whole bunch of stuff. Next, I'm pulling in the shop a little Kubota tractor. It's a MX 5200 that I bought at the auction. We cleaned it up. It's got 3,000 hours on it. Kind of high, but we cleaned it up, and it turned out to be a good tractor. I've got a loader we're going to put on it. So I pulled it in the shop. It didn't come with a loader originally, but we've got loader brackets and stuff like that. So I'm going to get it pulled in there so tomorrow morning we can get the loader put on it. So like I was telling you all, this thing has never had a loader on it. So we're going to fill these loader bolt holes up full of some PB Blaster and let them soak overnight. Oh, if you guys know the struggle of a dang PB can, these things never last the whole freaking can to get all the crap out. They freaking They're terrible. Good stuff. Terrible cans. You're always having to twist and turn and do all that stuff to make anything come out of them. Doo-doo. All right, all filled up. Ready to figure it out next time. That's a wrap, guys. Sitting here back at my desk in the shop here at the front of old Blue Collar Equipment. We've got a crazy week coming up. Ton of cool stuff going on. I'm actually bidding on something online I think you all are going to like. Let's just say it's around 1,000 horsepower, and it's going to be really freaking cool, and it's not a car or truck. So drop some comments. Let me know what you think it might be, and I'll let you know if you're close or not. We will know Saturday if we win it at the auction. Make sure you smash that like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. We'll see you later. Peace.